Welcome back. Today I'm going to listen to the Band-Maid single, Start Over. I've just finished the album World Domination, which I think was released in February of 2018. Then in April of 2018, they released Secret Maiko Lips as a standalone single, which I've already done because it was a remake of Secret My Lips, so I've already looked at that song. But then in July of 2018, they released the single Start Over, which included the songs Start Over, Screaming, and Secret Maiko Lips Again. So that leaves us two songs to listen to today, Start Over and Screaming. Start Over I know has a music video. I'm going to listen to the audio first and then look at the music video, and then we'll do the song Screaming, which I think I found a live version of, but I'm not sure if it's high quality enough. Anyway, after a couple of disclaimers, let's just go. Those disclaimers are, I am going to pause a lot to talk about what I heard or saw. That's the whole point of this video. If you want to hear the song straight through or watch the music video straight through, they're on YouTube, and the songs, of course, are on streaming services. Second, I'm just doing this for fun because I'm a maniac. I love Band-Maid. I really enjoy listening to their music, watching their videos, and I'm really enjoying this little project I'm doing, which, if you're not familiar with, I started at the very beginning chronologically and have gone through all of Band-Maid's songs, albums, singles, and so on, from their formation back in 2013 all the way up through 2018, which is where we are right now. In real life, I'm in 2024, in case there's any confusion, but I've made it chronologically through their catalog up through 2018. One other disclaimer, I have heard all of these songs before, or at least 90-something% of them, and I know I've heard Start Over before. I don't remember exactly what it sounds like because I haven't been listening to these songs as I've been doing the chronological project. I do remember when I first heard it that I wasn't incredibly fond of it, but I need to qualify that by saying that most Band-Maid songs, to me, I enjoy them more than most other songs. So when a Band-Maid song isn't one of my favorites, that doesn't mean I don't like it or that I don't think it's any good. It just means it's not as good as their other songs, in my opinion. I don't have the actual single, but both of these songs are on the best of albums. All right, we had a little snafu here. I started listening to the song, but the audio was blowing out completely, so I had to go back and change a bunch of settings, so I did listen to about the first 20 seconds of this song, and so I'm going to start it over now. No pun intended, that is the name of the song, Start Over. I will say that it sounded like a completely different band to me, not only from the piano intro, but then there's a little bit of a jazzy feel with the drums and the guitar. Jazz might be the wrong term for that. I'm not a music expert, but anyway, I will play the beginning of the song again. You know, for those of you who can't magically hear the part that I've just deleted, which I assume is all of you. Let's go. I will say that the first time I heard this just a few minutes ago, I didn't even hear the cool things that Misa was doing on the bass in the background. I just heard a couple of notes, but this time I guess I was listening for different things, and I definitely heard a bunch of variation in the bass guitar part, but the rest of it just doesn't sound like Band-Maid to me. Now I know that sometimes, the same members of one band can, they all enjoy other styles of music as well besides the one that their band plays, and it almost sounds like they, each decided to go to a separate project and say, hey, let's do this other project with a different kind of music, and the other one said, hey, yeah, I want to be in on that too, and they all just went and formed, kind of like they did with Band-Maiko, where there's kind of a different focus and a different subgenre of music, and that almost sounds like what they've done here. The singing is in a different style, the guitar playing's at a different style, the drums are definitely a lot more relaxed, and I don't know if relaxed is the right word, but it's definitely not hard driving here. I don't hate it, it's just not what I've come to know Band-Maid for.
Simple.
Okay, I think we just went immediately into the second verse. Already there was a cool little bass feature right there, which I'll back up and catch that transition again. I think the vocals are still distinctively Band-Maid because I recognize Psyche's voice. It's different than a lot of the other female rock singers. It's even different than the more specific genre of Japanese rock singers. So I think I still recognize that as, as different and distinct from other groups. So, there is still that Band-Maid flavor there, but so far nothing here has said to me, like, this is Band-Maid for sure. It just kind of sounds like Psyche's singing for a different group to me. But the bass feels pretty distinctive there when that came in. I did also notice during that second verse a lot of drum work that I'm pretty sure wasn't present in the first verse. And again, I'll use the word jazzy to describe that drum work. It didn't feel like rock drums to me. It felt like the patterns were all over the place. She was having a lot of fun filling in the little gaps. And Misa on the bass was having a lot more fun there too. And it seems like Konami, the lead guitar, is not doing a whole lot so far. Seems like the guitars are just providing more of a fullness of the sound in the chorus than they are doing anything else, just providing some accents notes throughout the verses. So yeah, definitely a different direction. And I think if I had been listening to Band-Maid at this point and had just heard World Domination, which I repeatedly said had the best guitar sounds that I had heard from Band-Maid so far, and that hard rock all the way through that whole album with just a couple of minor exceptions was my favorite guitar sound. And then this single came out. I think I might have been disappointed, but I also like to reserve judgment. That's, my personality. I like to, when I hear something, even if I immediately feel a disappointment, I like to, to put that in check and just say, let's let this sit for a while and see what we really think after, we've heard it a couple of times. So, let's keep going. It's definitely highly skilled music. At least it feels that way to me as an amateur, as a lay person, not even an amateur. I'm going to back up a little bit. During that section, which again reminded me more of a pop song than a rock song, I started to hear a little bit of that heavier guitar kind of roaming in the background. It's grumbling very lightly underneath all of that high talk, whatever they're saying. I can hear the lead guitar there as if it's like preparing to take the song to another place, although we're, 2/3 or more of the way through the song, so that might not be the case. Okay, that's one of the rare Band-Maid songs that doesn't have a guitar solo, and I'm pretty sure it's the first one chronologically that included "If She Said What I Thought She Said," a word that's not played on American radio. And by the way, when they're singing in English and I don't understand what they're saying, I'm not blaming that on their accent. I misunderstand English speakers when they sing all the time, and hopefully some of you have too. My whole life, I thought the lyrics would say one thing and then later find out, oh, they didn't say Tony Danza after all. They said Tiny Dancer, that kind of thing. That was a joke. I did know what that one said. Let's watch the music video. And if I haven't mentioned it in a while, one reason that I like to hear the audio first before watching a music video, well, actually, there's two reasons. One is that normally when I listen to music, it's just the audio because it's just earbuds while I'm doing something else. And number two, the visuals in the video are often incredibly distracting to me, and I'm seeing things rather than hearing things. I don't know why my brain works that way. I'm sure everybody has a little bit of a different balance between audio and in video in their brain. Mine tends to go toward the visuals, and it happens in real life too, not just in music videos. If I'm hearing somebody talk, but then I see something pretty interesting, I'll quit hearing them. But anyway, music video. Wait, I think I just remembered what this one is. Let's see. Well, whether or not it's their first song that started off with piano notes, I'm positive it's the first one in which we've seen, if not the only one, in which we see Konami playing the piano. So that's pretty interesting to me. I'm also curious about this old chair here. That chair looks like it has seen some things. And the music video scene that was played very briefly there, it reminded me of like 1990s music videos, but again, I'm not a huge connoisseur of music videos, so I could be way off there. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm glad during that last part that it did show the stuff that I was hearing from Misa on the bass in the audio, and Akane's part here in the video looked a lot simpler than I thought it was. Hearing Akane's drum part in the audio only, it sounded pretty complex to me, but here it looked like she was just pretty easily handling that and using just a couple of, like one drum and the little hi-hat, and that was it. So I think that's a great example of how, sometimes the ear can trick you into, thinking you're hearing a more complex sound, but here we have returned to the story scene of the video, so let's just keep going.
People again.
Well, another thing that reminded me of the 90s in that video was the ashtray. I haven't seen an ashtray full of cigarette butts indoors in a long time, which, I mean, that's a good thing, right? When I was a kid, almost every house had one someplace. Even if the people that lived there didn't smoke, they would have an ashtray for guests. So that was kind of surprising to see in a video this recent. 2018 is when the song came out. I assume the video was around that same time. I am going to reserve judgment on the video and on the song. Even though I know this isn't the first time I've heard this song, I'm currently not overwhelmed by it. It doesn't sound like the Band-Maid sound to me. I know that they've had variations in their sound, and every band should. You don't want every song to sound the same. This one just sounds like a different group to me. And just in case I'm misunderstood, which I often feel that I am, I'm not saying that they shouldn't play whatever music they want to. I hope that's clear. Musical artists, other artists that aren't musical artists, I think they should be able to do whatever kind of art that they want to, which is kind of the point of being an artist. But I also don't have to fully enjoy every single thing that they do. The video it's interesting in a way, but it also kind of makes me question, like who thought of the video? Whose idea was it? And who said, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea? I think a different way of saying everything that I just said would be that if this was the first song or video that you showed me or played for me from Band-Maid, and I had never heard of them before, I probably wouldn't be highly enthused to hear the next song. Oh, that feels incredibly mean. But I also know that it wasn't the only song on that single. So let's hear the next song on the single, which was Screaming. I'm going to start that over again. That one came in pretty quick and kind of surprised me. I'm not even sure what instrument that was. Was that the guitar? Okay, this definitely sounds a lot more like Band-Maid, but still it sounds like they've moved on from world domination. It's clear that they've been working on new projects in the meantime over the few months that took place between the recording of this and the previous album. And in that intro, which I think was the electric guitar, it sounded almost like she stumbled over her fingers at one point, or maybe that's the way it was supposed to sound. And then that little part just continued throughout as the rest of the instruments came in. That was, wow. I'm having trouble saying the words that I want to say. This song definitely gives the impression of feeling like you want to scream or actually screaming musically, so I'll give it that. I know it's probably difficult to convey the exact meaning or emotion musically that you had linguistically. The words that you can say, if you're careful, can express meaning really clearly, and sometimes music it's less clear, but this one sounds pretty clear to me. Wow, a couple of things happened right there. I'm going to back up a few seconds, but there was a nice long drum fill and then some bass work right at the end of it. Plus, Psyche's voice did something pretty cool right there. I'm not a musical expert, don't know the exact words all the time, but I enjoyed it. Backing up about 10 seconds. This one's pretty busy. I like it tons better than the previous song. Sorry, that's just my, my musical tastes, and I'm so glad that they included it on the single. Had I bought this single back when it came out and got to this song, I would have been relieved and, pleasantly surprised. There's a lot to take in. I feel like I would have to hear this song 5 or 10, maybe more times before I caught everything. There's a lot going on. The bass guitar and the electric guitar, and I think the rhythm guitars in there too are, talking around each other, and the drums going between them. And the whole time, Saiki and Miku are singing, and I think one of them speaking sometimes not at the same time, and they're kind of going around each other. Not quite chaos, but it gives that sense to it that it's a little chaotic. I like it. Let's keep going. That was pretty special in headphones with the kind of half-spoken, half-sung words there. I felt like it was shifting just a little bit. It wasn't full left-right pan, at least for me. But it felt like it was in the middle and kind of shift to one side and shift to the other side, like somebody was giving just a little bit of left weight to it and then a little bit of right weight to it and bringing it back to the middle. But yeah, even the guitar solo was chaotic. And the music behind it that's so far the best word that I've come up with for this song is chaos. It's fun, and it's got my attention the whole way through. I almost forgot to pause until the voice did that thing, which reminded me, I should stop and say something. I want to hear that part again. Oh, wow. I don't read music, but I would hate to see the sheet music for that last little bit. I did once read music back when I played in the high school band back in the 1980s, but if my calculations are correct, that was a heck of a long time ago, so I don't currently read sheet music. But anyway, I imagine if there were sheet music for that last bit, it would be just blots all over the page. Oh my goodness. I think every few milliseconds was filled with a drum beat, and in between that, it felt like Misa was using all the strings on the bass at the same time, and the guitar was running around like my dog used to chase a squirrel, and it just, wow. Interestingly enough, it does look like there is a live for Screaming from the online concert in 2020. I'm just going to take a look at this. From this opening image, it does look like the videos are relatively high quality. I'm just curious what some of that chaos looked like, and I've got to see it for myself. Let's go.
But you got faith out there, but you're
It might be that they changed the arrangement a little bit, but at least here in the audio that I'm hearing now, this is a lot less chaotic than the audio was that I just listened to. This seems a lot more clean. And so far, I actually like it better, the way that the audio sounds to me, because it, like I said, it sounded a little bit overpowering how chaotic it was in the studio track that I just listened to. But the video quality is not as good as I had hoped that it would be, but that's fine. Kind of getting to see what Konami's doing there on the frets. And Misa looks like she's kind of tired, so I'm guessing this was, later in the show. I mean, Misa looks like she's given a lot already in this show by the time they got to this song. But they do look like they're enjoying it. Let's keep going. Okay, the second verse sounded a little bit more chaotic to me, and I don't know what else to say. I know that they did the online shows for just online, and there wasn't actually an audience there, which makes it entirely different, I assume, for the performers. But I would have loved to have been in that room, whether I was, just plugging in cables or moving fans around, whatever the people in the room were doing, or just sitting in the shadows in the back, enjoying the show, wouldn't that be cool to be the only audience member at one of these, or one of a handful of audience members, even though they're performing for cameras, for people online all over the world. I think it would be more cool to be in the room for one of these than at a regular show, but maybe that's just me. I was curious about that spoken part during the live show, and I'm 99% positive that a bunch of that was actually just on a track. It was slightly different, so I'm pretty sure that Saiki sang at least her part, but Miku's part sounded exactly like it did on the track. Even if so, that's cool. It had that exact same effect, and I realized it wasn't panning from left to right. It was that one side or the other was hitting some of those whispered consonants slightly differently than the other side. But anyway, yeah, that whole chaotic break there was just really fun. And oh, sorry, Saiki, that was a horrible pause. I'll keep going. Wow, what an interesting ending. I thought while I was watching it that there was a moment where Akane looked like she was sensing the chaos and maybe getting a little frustrated by it, but I went back through frame by frame and this is the closest I could get to it. She just looks like she's having fun. When it was in motion through the song, it looked almost like she was wincing here or kind of giving that smile like, are you sure we should do something this crazy? But yeah, that was pretty impressive. I'm glad I found this. That's awesome. I honestly don't know what album these singles were in preparation for because in my list there's a bunch of singles in a row. There's the Secret Maiko Lips, which was just before this. There's Start Over, which has these two songs, and then Secret Maiko Lips again. There was Glory, which had Glory and Hide and Seek. Then there was the Bubble single the following year, 2019, Bubble and Smile. Then the Band-Maiko album came out. Then there was the Endless Story single, and this is on my list. These are all songs that I haven't, reacted to or reviewed yet. And then the Conqueror album didn't come out until late in 2019. So instead of working on an album, they were just, doing singles. Whenever they had songs ready, they were putting out a single. I don't know. I will say that it's evident to me, or I think it would have been evident to me had I been a Band-Maid fan in 2019 and got this single. I think it would have been evident that they were, trying some new directions here. World Domination as an album felt really cohesive to me. It felt like all of the parts were very similar, different enough to be distinguishable, especially some of the songs like Daydreaming, that had a completely different flavor from some of the other songs. And I don't know what it actually is specifically about the sound, but there was something about the sound that I felt like all those songs tied together to me. But these two felt like they branched way out, especially Start Over. That went into a whole different genre. And Screaming took this hard rock genre into a completely different direction than they had been trying before. So if all I have in mid-2018 when this came out in July is this single, I'm going to be kind of, pretty curious about what's coming out in the future because it looks like, again, they're heading in some different directions. I think that's great. Nobody should get stuck in a rut if they can help it. Keep trying to, you step over the edges of that rut and, and dabble into different things. And that's clearly what they've done here. I really enjoyed Screaming just from the audio, but also from that live show there. That was just really fun song. I don't think I fully processed it yet, but I am glad I got to listen to Band-Maid today with you. Thank you for being here. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll see you next time.